So, of course, everybody, we've got Mike here in the lobby. Do send through your board numbers that you would like to discuss, and we'll make a list of them. We will try to get through as many as we can, but we do just need to be aware of the time of the lobby closing. So type in those board numbers, and just while you're doing that and while we're picking some boards to go through, we'll congratulate our winners. Would you like to present the honours today, Mike?
So well done to Lisa and Jenny with a big score. 64% is a great effort. Second place, Gail and Chris, 57, also a pretty good score. And Alex and Joe just snuck above 50. Well done to those three. And East West, Sandra and Simon, excellent score, 62%. Well played. Peter and Robert came second, just a hair ahead of Mary and Bev on 52%. So well done to everybody, and bad luck to people who had a bit of a rough day. It's easy to have, especially playing match points. I've had plenty of rough match point sessions, so don't give up.
Oh, yeah. And a special shout out to Mary and Bev, who were playing together as a pickup partnership for the first time as well. So well done there. Looks like those late board numbers are proving to be pretty popular. 9 and 20, I think, have made a couple of appearances in terms of our requests. So I guess they're definitely coming in. We've got 6 board numbers. I think I've just listed them. Feel like I'm calling out the Lotto or Keno, but why don't we make it start with them? So you've had your hand record sent out to you, but the easiest way to take a look at your scores, everybody, is just to click on your partnership name. That's going to bring up your detailed results. Then you can click on the blue TV icon next to each board number to see the replays. Just if you do need to scroll down to get to the board numbers, there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can sort of just click, and as you're holding, kind of pull the screen up. Alternatively, if you've got a mouse, you can use the little scroll ball, or there's a slide bar just on the side of the results area. So the first one we are going to jump into is board number 9. So starting with a quite high one up compared to what we usually do. Everyone's forgotten about those first few boards. So why don't we jump in there just to give you an idea of the results around the room. We've had a couple of spree no trump contracts by North South. Someone won it in 2 hearts, and also a 4 diamond contract.
Yeah, so this is an interesting board right off the bat, because if I was sitting north with that hand, there's no way I'd be passing as the dealer. I think one thing that is certainly something that people start getting more into as you play more is not counting your points quite so much and thinking more about the overall hand. What do you think, Laura? Would you open this hand?
Do you really need to ask me that?
Yeah, I mean, even though in this case you've only got 10 high card points, you've got so much extra. You've got an easy rebid, and you've just got a lovely hand overall. So I would certainly be getting into the auction as the dealer with 1 heart.
Yeah, like you're also favorable, great. You also have a bit of texture to your suits with the 10s and 9s. And
10s and 9s are excellent in long suits. Yep, touching honours, ace king touching, jack 10, 8 touching. Yeah, really nice hand. So I would certainly be opening this a heart. And after that, you sort of probably end up getting to 3 no trumps, I suspect. How did other people bid it?
I haven't looked into any detailed auctions as it is. So if North opens, you're definitely going to stumble your way into 3 no trumps. If North doesn't open, it's going to be a bit harder, but you'd think that they still might get there. I guess it's hard for South knowing that partner has passed. So you're at most sort of looking at 11 points from partner to take the push.
Yeah, I feel like if it had gone pass, and now South opens 1 spade, West probably passes, and now if North bids 2 hearts, pass. I think now I probably would just pass as South, only because you heard partner have the chance to open. They were favourable the first hit, they didn't open, so they've probably got sort of, 8, 9, 10 points, something like that, but not enough to open a weak 2 or anything else. So I reckon probably only usually a 5-card heart suit, and so I reckon I'd probably pass and play 2 hearts, which wouldn't get me a great score on this board.
No, it looks like that did happen at one table. So if that was your table, yeah, there you go. We think it's a perfectly reasonable spot to get to. But, yeah, it's not going to go too well with the scorekeeper, is it?
Yeah, I mean, certainly on this hand, the hearts coming in for all the tricks makes 3 no trumps make. But even if it was like Jack 4th with West instead, you're probably going to be in trouble in 3 no trumps. So certainly 3 NT is a bit of a lucky make, but fortune favors the brave sometimes, and it's certainly not a hopeless contract.
Yeah. So it looks like the next one on the list was 19. So why don't we use the close button just in the top of the replay section and jump down into 19, and then we're going to be in our big old area with distributional hands after this. So let's jump into 19, where our dealer is South. So how do you think this one should roll?
Yeah, I mean, South's got a pretty nice looking hand, 18 high card points. Usually, I like to open playing standard. All of my balanced hands, even with a 5-card major, I open them with a no trump if they're in the range. So if I had a 15, 16, 17 count with this kind of shape and this kind of points, I'd open a no trump. But here you've got 18, you're a bit too strong. The plan is to bid a spade and then rebid 2 no trumps. So I'd start with a spade.
At 3 tables around the place, that's where it ended. So when a spade, pass, pass, pass. Yeah, what do we think of? I like North's pass. Do you think the option
North's pass is totally fine. Yeah, I mean, the only person that I would consider bidding with is East. I think in that spot I would probably keep the option alive. Not that it necessarily works out well on this board, but I think I would probably make a takeout double as East. A couple of reasons. You've got not bad shape. You've got sort of the 5-4 shape. You've only got a doubles and spade. Hypothetically, any spade on his partner's got are sitting well, sitting over dummy. And on this hand, partner can have quite a good hand. Partner could easily have like a 10 or 12 or 13 count. If they've got a bit of spade length, it's hard to act directly over a spade. This comes down again to sort of one of the things I was talking about before the session. But looking at the whole hand record, it's easier to see that maybe passing out a spade is fine and bidding gets you in trouble. But I still think that making a double here on the East cards, a balancing double, is probably the best choice.
For a lot of players, I think that would seem a little bit off shape, especially when you do have a 5-card major, and typically we try not to use doubles when there's a 5-card suit, wanting to more overcall it rather than doubling and leaving the options open for partner. What's your thoughts on why you'd prefer double?
Certainly in this spot, I think that doubling is a more flexible choice a lot of the time. Certainly it won't always work out well. And on this board, partner will probably bid 1 no trump, I suspect, which actually is probably going to be okay. Or South might bid a no trump in front of you. It's obviously always a choice. I just think generally overcalling at the 2 level, especially when you're vulnerable on a weak suit, like this is a pretty crappy heart suit, only ace 8 to 5. I really try and avoid overcalling at the 2 level on a suit that's got that bad texture. And so for me, I think a double is safer, mostly.
I think this hand illustrates so many things about why bridge is so utterly confusing. So in like this pass out position, doubles like a great option, and you've only got 10 points when we usually talk about doubles being, an opening hand by an overcaller or pretty close to it. And also when a 2-level overcall can be as few as 10, but of course if you're going to do that, you want pretty good suit quality.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a situation where position matters so much. Like, I certainly wouldn't act with this hand if I was sitting directly over the 1 spade bidder. for quite a few reasons. Your hand is just a fair bit worse. But when you are in the pass-out seat and you have the option to make a balancing bid, you just want to be in there a bit more aggressively because letting the opponents play in at the one level, although it's not always a bad idea, when you've got a chance like on this hand, you could easily be making a contract in diamonds or hearts or no trumps. It does make sense to try and get in more aggressively. So yeah, certainly keep in mind the idea that in the balancing spot, which is the pass out seat, it's called the balancing spot, you can double and act and bid a little bit more lightly.
Yeah, I think also another funny thing which people might not have seen too much of is this south hand, and the idea if you've opened and your plan was to jump, rebid and no trumps, but you heard a pass from your partner, so they've denied having 6 points, that when you do have the 18-19 balanced, you can just bid your no trumps at the lowest level, so you don't need to go jumping as well.
Yeah, so if imagine it did go one spade from south, pass, and double from east, because if you had 11 to 14 balance, the weaker balance hand, you would just pass now. Bidding a no trump, like Laura says, should be showing this kind of hand, like an 18-19 sort of point hand.
All right, and if anyone does have any follow-up questions on any of the boards that we do talk about, or you'd like to chuck in any comments, just type them in. We're keeping an eye on the chat there. But if that's all for 19, let's close it up and move across into 20, which was an absolute cracker. So we'll see what you make of these ones. Mike, I'll have a look at just the scores.
A lot of action here. So, yeah, the West hand looks like you might open some sort of week 2 style bid, maybe 2 spades. North probably passes, and then I think that the East hand here has an interesting choice. I guess I'd probably just bid 4 spades, get to what looks like the most probable game as fast as possible. I wonder how many people actually did open the West hand 2 spades. The downside of opening hand 2 spades with a suit that's only as good as Queen 9-8-7 is that you could get in trouble sometimes and penalised. But the upside is you've got quite a good hand, and yeah, you have got a 6-card spade suit. They don't always get to penalise you. I'm not even going to ask Laura. I know she'd open this hand. She's an animal.
I've changed in my old age. I reckon I'd actually be passing this one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've played, hasn't it?
Yeah. No, it's certainly a close one for me. I think I'd probably open it, but it certainly does depend. If West does pass as the dealer and then North passes, then East has got a difficult choice. I think now I'd be tempted to make a preemptive bid in clubs rather than just opening one club. And again, it comes down to the sort of thinking about bridge as more of a positional game, where even though you've certainly got a good hand and a hand that's too strong to make a preemptive jump bid if you were sitting in one of the first 2 seats, once you've already heard your partner pass, your priorities sort of shift towards destructive bidding more and making the opponent's life hard rather than being constructive for your side. So I reckon that I might open this hand 4 clubs or something.
Yeah, I was going to say what level? 4 clubs. I like it.
I reckon nice. 4, yeah. I reckon I'd open 4 clubs if it had gone pass. And then, oh, geez, south the... Yeah, I mean, how did the other tables bid it? What were the options? I think Pam is having trouble hearing the director. Is that
Yeah, I'll just type her a message. We'll be able to send her the audio afterwards. So just in terms of some auctions, there we go. The first one I've jumped into, it was opened by West, but with a multi, which yeah, puts East in a interesting little spot for your pass or correct bid. And yeah, that one got up to the dizzy heights of 4 spades. I think that South then, because of course with the multi it's gone 2 diamonds, East bidding 2 hearts. And what's South meant to do in that position?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly suspect that the opponents have got spades. Yeah, tricky choice. I guess you probably start with a pass, but yeah.
Wait and see what happens a bit later.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be completely insane to bid 3 diamonds, but yeah, the multi certainly makes things difficult. I think if the auction did start 2 spades past 4 spades, say, then I would certainly bid with the south hand. But this is an excellent spot where what you could bid here is 4 no trumps. And that's like an extension. I think people probably play an unusual 2 no trumps where after like a 1 spade opening, the next hand can jump to 2 no trumps to show they've got both minors. Usually people play that when you're at the 4 no trumps level, just because it's a high level where you haven't got a lot of room, bidding 4 no trumps in this kind of spot shows a really shapely hand with any 2 suits. So on this occasion, North would probably, over the 4 no trumps, decide that they didn't want to play, if whatever suits their partners got, they've either got clubs and diamonds, clubs and hearts, or hearts and diamonds. And so whatever pair of suits they've got, they'd rather play in the higher one and not clubs. So North would bid 5 diamonds, saying essentially that if their partner has hearts and clubs, they want them to correct to 5 hearts. But on this hand, when they've actually got the diamonds, South could pass and get to a making contract.
Just had Lisa wonder about how North-South can get involved. At their table, it did go 2 spades past 4 spades. Well done on the 4 spade raise. Basically, it's got to be the South player that sort of takes it a bit higher. Yes, you're at a risky level, sort of pushing on to the 5 level. But with such distributional hands, got to do some more bidding. There's what are those sayings? You've got 6-4, bid some more.
Bid some more, yeah, yep. Come alive, yeah. I mean, certainly, I think that the key thing is when you've got 2 suits and you've got a way to show both of them, then that's a lot less risky than just gambling and bidding one suit. So, yeah, certainly, if I was going to get involved here, I'd much rather be able to get involved by showing both my suits rather than just one.
Yeah, if you've got that 4 no trump bid in the kit bag, yeah, it's definitely a really handy one to play here. So why don't we jump into our next one now? I've lost my list. I know 23
22,
was
I think it is.
Yeah, we've got 22, 23, 24. We've got that roll of them. We'll jump into 22 now.
Yeah, so East here has got a sort of marginal choice whether to open or pass. I would probably lean towards opening. An interesting idea with point count is that aces tend to be a little bit undervalued by the traditional high card point count. So if I've got a hand which is on the edge, like this sort of an 11 count, do you open, do you not open? If I've got most of my points in aces, I'll tend to open. I've got most of my points in queens and jacks and stuff, I'll probably pass. So yeah, for me this would qualify as an opening hand, and I just open with a diamond. And now it might go something like pass from South, and West might bid 3 diamonds, like an invitational hand to the 10 to 12 points with some diamonds. Seems pretty sensible. And now North's got a tough call.
Don't forget, they'll probably show their hearts on the way.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, West could bid 1 heart. Sorry. Yeah, that actually makes more sense. They even had hearts. Yeah, so a diamond pass, a heart pass. Well, at this point, so if West does show just 1 heart, then certainly North can get involved and introduce their clubs.
So
yeah, it's a tough board. What was some of the options on this board? I'm curious to see how some of the tables did.
Managed to buy it in clubs. So we did have one person bought it in 3 clubs. I thought they got away pretty cheaply there. We did have 2 buy it in 4 clubs, so that seemed to be a popular choice by the North players. Someone got hit, and then someone got to the dizzy heights of 5 clubs, I reckon the toughest position to be in would be where you've opened your diamond as East, partner's bid a heart as West, and now North's bid 4 clubs. And in this pressure spot, are you going to go 4 hearts or not?
Yeah, you probably do, I think. I think I would probably be pushed into bidding 4 hearts, holding a singleton club and 4-card support for partner's suit, and it would work out extremely badly on this hand if South could find a double and collect a pile of tricks.
So many tricks.
I mean, it's certainly the North hand though. In this sort of situation, is maybe too strong to just jump to 4 clubs. Only because there's a decent chance you might be able to make like a 3-no trump contract if partner can bring a couple of stoppers and you can run the clubs. So it's certainly it's a tricky hand. I think I'd probably just bid 2 clubs with North on this hand, and then rebid them again if you got a chance to. So
Trying to go
it would
fishing.
be interesting. Yeah. Certainly, the one bid that would work out very poorly is if South guessed to overcall hearts. Another sort of idea, especially when you're favourable, is that the 1 level, you can afford to be pretty aggressive with your overcalls, only because it's difficult to penalise 1 level overcalls. So if I had the South hand, I actually might consider bidding a heart over 1 club. Oh, over a diamond, sorry, which would walk into the opponent's 8-card fit and make their life much easier.
I feel like they might be wondering why they're listening to us when all of our our answers seem to get to bad spots today.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Certainly true.
Now, why don't we jump into board 23 and take a look at this curly one as well?
Yeah, another hand where East-West have got good amount of high cards. So South clearly has a pass, and again, West would get into the auction with a diamond. Pass from North. East is likely to just bid 1 heart. Pass, and now West would probably rebid a no trump, or maybe a spade, depending on what your style is. In any case, after whatever bid West makes, you sort of really need to have a little bit of a conventional way to get around describing this East hand. I think hypothetically, if it had gone a diamond from West, a heart from East, and a spade from West, now East could use the 4th suit game forcing convention, bidding 2 clubs to say, look, partner, I've got enough points to make game somewhere, and nothing about clubs on this hand. And that would allow East-West to find their heart fit.
Yeah, we did have a couple of East-West get to 4 hearts, but the breaks got put on at a couple of tables and someone played 3 no trumps. So, yeah, no one was quite able to work their way into the slam. I'd probably try to make a bit of a slam try with a 19 count if partner opened. But,
yeah, I mean, the thing that you need to sort of find out, though, is whether you've got to fit somewhere. Because even with 19 points, if you've got a misfitting kind of hand, you really do want a ton of points to be able to get to slam. Whereas if East-West can find the heart fit, now it starts to look pretty good for slam, because you can do some roughing, you can set up some long suits, you've got lots of more options.
yeah, definitely. Finding that fit makes your auctions so much easier when we know what trumps are.
Absolutely.
So why don't we move into our last one for the day? So across to board number 24, folks, now. So got West as our dealer here. What do we think should happen?
Yeah, so this is another interesting hand evaluation sort of question. And for me, I would open this West hand 1 no trump. Again, once you've sort of played for a while and started to look a bit beyond just basic point count, this kind of hand where you've got a good chunky 5-card suit is really worth more points than the number of high card points the hand has. So even though you've only got a 14 count, I would certainly add a point for the King Jack 10-8 to 5 clubs and upgrade it to open 1 no trump. And if you do that, then East has got an easy raise to 3 no trumps. However, if you did choose to just open a club instead, North probably passes. East would bid a diamond. Pass from South probably. You might bid a no trump. And now East has a choice of whether to invite or sort of just blast game. Maybe East should consider inviting, and then this hand would accept. So you probably should get yourself to 3 no trumps, no matter what happens. And it looks like, even though a few of the cards are offside, 3 no trumps shouldn't have too much problem.
Yeah, we've got a few different things that happened around the room. We've got 5 different numbers of tricks made at 5 different tables, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah, there are a few things that aren't quite in the spot that you would like them, but yeah, I think it illustrates why it's important probably to just keep plugging away at those diamonds as declarer, even if you have to lose a couple along the way.
Yeah, it's an interesting hand. It's not certainly trivial to make a bunch of tricks, especially if you have to get the diamonds or the clubs right. But yeah, it feels like you're going to end up being forced to play the clubs to make the contract. And with the Queen 3rd club on side, as long as you play a club to the ace and a club to the jack at some point in the play, probably not straight away, but later on, like Laura says, going after diamonds first tends to be a better option. Yeah, these kind of hands are actually very complicated, even for someone like Laura or Pete, because there's so many different sources of tricks. You've got tricks possible in diamonds, tricks possible in clubs. The fact that you've got all the solid diamonds, missing just the ace and the jack, makes that suit an appealing one to go after, because you can sort of force out, and worst case scenario, you'll lose a couple of tricks, but make the rest.
We've also had a question about the lead there as well from North, assuming they haven't bid hearts. I think a heart would just be sort of the standard lead. We're assuming that diamonds might have been bid along the way, but of course, if it did go 1 no trump, 3 no trumps, and diamonds weren't bid, a diamond's a pretty good option too.
Yeah, if the auction had been something like 1 no trump, 3 no trump, one good rule is that if you've got an option to lead between 2 suits, one of them is a major, one of them is a minor, you should almost always lead the major, just because if the opponents had majors, they might have explored for them by bidding Stamen or trying to transfer to a major. And so the auction 1 no trump, 3 no trumps sort of has an implication that the opponents are more likely to have minors than majors. And so leading a major gives you more of a chance to hit your long suit.
Absolutely.
And on this hand, another sort of thing to consider is that leading away from a holding like an ace-jack or an ace-queen, when you've only got 4 of them, isn't that appealing, because you're leading into the strong hand, and it can often give away a trick. Whereas you'd sort of you'd prefer to lead from like a more sort of sturdy suit if you could. But yeah, in general, leading away from like an honor tennis like that isn't usually something that I try to do if there's a good alternative.
Yeah. So that wraps up our post-game discussion of the boards. I hope that you enjoyed having Mike here in the lobby with us today, and you got some great insights from the game. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thanks a lot, Laura. It's been fun.
And good on you, everyone. Congratulations to our winners for the day, to Lisa and Jenny, and also to Simon and Sandra. And I look forward to seeing you at the Real Deal Bridge table again soon. And don't forget, every time you take part in a celebrity speaker game, we're also raising money for Youth Bridge. And we've got another one on Monday, just around the corner. So you'll have some information about that in your email as well. Well done, Mike, and I look forward to being able to play with or against you at the table again.
Fingers crossed it's sooner rather than later. It would be great. Look forward to catching up.
Okay, bye
Cheers,
everyone.
everybody. Thanks a lot.